Well, hello everyone and greetings. Week 3 in the books for the 49ers. Early this week, having the Thursday game against the New York Giants. We'll get into that. But first, coming up here, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan both get extensions on their contracts. Great to see. Hopefully it results in a Super Bowl sometime soon. Getting into the game. This was the Niners' home opener for the season. They won 30-12 against the Giants team that had to have a borderline miracle comeback against the Cardinals last week, and who got blown out by the Cowboys 40-0 in week 1. So how did this turn out? Well, the Niners beat them handily. The second half came on strong, much like they did against the Rams last week. It kind of took to the third and fourth quarter to really have them come on again. But it was still a W at the end of it all. So if we're taking a look at team stats there, the Niners decimated the Giants in almost every possible facet of the game there. 441 yards compared to 150. You're beating them nearly 3-1 right there. I think first downs, they almost doubled the first downs. Time of possession was almost doubled. Sack-wise, both teams actually got even on that, but it was completely the Niners, once they got rolling, just took it over in the game like many people thought they would, like I thought they would. If we break it down to individual stats, we'll start with Brock Purdy. 301 yards, which is his highest for a regular season game. Yes, that got helped out a lot by Deebo Samuel, McCaffrey, and Kittle being absolute yak monsters. But that's to be expected, though, with them, and I see nothing wrong with that. He did look a little off sometimes, but that's I think is a lot of credit to the Giants defense, who I think really came to show out to play. The Giants defense caught him a few times, like I mentioned, 2 sacks. They had him pressured. They had him throwing quick, throwing short. The Giants defense really gave Purdy a tough time. Purdy, I think, responded as best as he could, got a little more comfortable as the game went on once he started completing some bigger passes there. Had an absolute dime of a throw to Deebo Samuel late in the game to get a touchdown to extend the lead even more. Deebo made a fantastic catch on that. Had another nice one, which to me it looked like he was throwing the ball away, but he did get a nice one out to Ronnie Bell. Speaking of which, Ronnie Bell, I think, did a lot more than people really thought he did. I mean, he gets overshadowed by Deebo Samuel or George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. I get it. It's understandable. But he had a great game, I think. He is rookie, seventh round pick. And this game, he did a fantastic job of covering on a punt coverage on special teams. Got a tackle real quick after the Giants fielder decided to take it with him. He was on top of him real fast. Basically, the guy had nowhere to go. Caught a very nice pass. Well, not a nice pass. It was a deflected pass that just happened to wind up to him. So kind of lucky there on that part. And then caught his first ever touchdown here in this game, which to me was Brock Purdy throwing the ball away, I thought, and just Ronnie Bell just happened to be there. Not going to discount that, though. Great catch overall, and it got the Niners their touchdown there to really help him going. Elsewhere, Deebo Samuel. Deebo did Deebo things and much more so this game. Brandon Ayuk was out with an injury, shoulder injury there. I think he was a game time decision shortly before game time. Nothing wrong with that. Rather have him be rested up for 2 weeks there against the Cardinals in a week and a half from now. But Deebo Samuel absolutely carried the weight with Ayuk being out. 129 yards, 6 receptions, I think, on 12 targets. The guy basically channeled what he was a few seasons ago, and actually the 129 yards is the most yards he had since 2021. He beat every single game from last year, and even he admits last year wasn't that great for him. He didn't feel like he was up to form and all that, and I mean, you can see the difference here now. I know games 1 and 2, not as much of a role here. This week, though, absolutely balled out. Of course, had to give us a scare there when he was down on the field for a little bit, but shortly after that, he got right back up and caught that touchdown pass from Purdy. So it wouldn't be a Niners game without potentially a season-ending injury, right? Luckily, that didn't happen. But Deebo, this was a great game. If he can return to form like this for the rest of the season, along with Ayuk, that's absolutely a terrifying duo for any defense to have to try and take on. George Kittle, 7 receptions, 96, more than 90 yards this game. That is more receptions and yards than the first 2 games combined this season. Did a great job. Also carried guys on his back to pick up extra yards. Christian McCaffrey, 119 yards overall, did the same exact thing. The 3 of them just absolutely helped carry this offense and helped carry Purdy around, and helped out Purdy's stats big time. But hey, we'll take it. Defensively, I felt like I was getting shades of last week in the first half of the game. The Niners defense wasn't really clamping down like I thought they would. I don't know if it's a slow start with the guys. Second half, though, much better. Nick Bosa got his first sack of the season. Almost was a safety there on when he took down Jones, like a 2-yard line, I think it was, 1-yard line. Super close. And after the third quarter came in, they clamped down big time. They didn't really allow the Giants to do anything. The Giants only 151 yards overall. And I want to say out of that 151, about 110 was passing. So the running game was not there. Now, granted, the Giants did not have Saquon Barkley. He is out with a ankle sprain. Hopefully he recovers in a few weeks. It'd be good to see him get back on the field for the Giants there. They would definitely need him there to come back. But once that happened, they ended up getting then at that point an interception after a tip play. Fred Warner popped it up even further in the air, and Hufanga comes down with it. Just did a fantastic job on that. Jake Moody hits all 3 of his field goals and 3 extra points, and that's pretty much how the Niners get a win here. It was just the Niners steadily dominated the game as the game went on. Like I said, the Giants held up really well in the first quarter. Second quarter, little got away from them, and they still held up, though, even in the third and fourth quarter. The Giants defense deserves credit. Giants offense, if you're a Giants fan watching this, I sincerely hope that they find something to do there. I think once their offensive line gets back, I think they were missing a few guys from what I understand there on their offensive line, and Saquon Barkley comes back. Hopefully it comes together for you guys to make something good for you. I like to see a competitive league. I don't want to see teams absolutely be completely bottom of the basement. I know the Giants are capable of more. So hopefully we'll see how that turns out. Anyways, moving on now to next week. I don't think there's anything left for me to talk about for this game, right? Oh, actually there is. The penalties. One thing these guys need to work on is penalties here. They had 6 for 79 yards or something like that. And a few of those penalties, I know they would have had more, but I think a few got offsetting from Giants because it happened at the same time. Trent Williams had some sort of altercation with one of the Giants defensive linemen. Luckily, he got an offsetting penalty against that when he threw a punch at the end of the second quarter. Another bad penalty running into the punt returner when he called for a fair catch. It's simple things like that need to be fixed, because the one where he ran to the punt returner resulted in the Giants scoring their only touchdown of the night from Matt Breida. And there was also a pass interference still too to continue that drive as well. They really got to work on the penalties. I think that is going to definitely harm them once they face a team that is at a higher caliber, like coming up in a couple weeks. But it's something hopefully Shanahan can really focus on, and the team can really get better at. So now looking at to next week, it is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, and they're either going to be 1-2 or 0-3. They play Dallas this week. I'm going to take a good guess that their record will be much more of the latter than the former there. That being said, like the Rams, it is a divisional game. I understand the Cardinals are probably worse off than the Rams in terms of capability, but the Cardinals try each week. They tried against the Commanders, came up a little short, and they just blew a lead against the Giants there. Unfortunately for them, the Giants just made a comeback there, and the Cardinals just let it slip away. But they have been competitive both of their games against Dallas. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. I got a feeling Dallas, they probably won't really be as competitive with them. But hey, you never know, right? It's why you play the games. So not going to discount what the Cardinals could do against the 49ers. I know it's not Kyler Murray because he's still on IR, and it is at home at Levi's there. Niners' next few games are at Levi's. But that's all we can hope for. We'll see how it goes. I expect them to win against the Cardinals next week. But once again, you never take a divisional rival for granted and thinking that you can beat them every single time. Anyway, that was my take this week. I am Pax Salinas. Thank you very much for watching me. I look forward to seeing you next week. Maybe a little sooner than that. We'll see how everything goes, but definitely at least next Sunday or Monday. Until then, take care, everyone, and stay faithful. See ya.